Makes me wonder how close they actually were before they got married.
True Wives, final episode of season 19, recap part 3, and I mean, I don't know, does anyone really wonder about that? What I mean is it's kind of obvious. I don't think anyone wonders. And, you know, hey, man, I guess it's none of your business unless they made it your business by talking about it forever. But yeah, I don't wonder, obviously. Discussion they're going into now, there's a lot of like really odd defensiveness, but they're talking about Kody when he was in high school. He was a football player and he was popular and he had a chance and he was doing this and he was Mormon naughty. Oof. To be clear, I'm with Janelle on this one. Like, oh my God, it's a big deal because you're making it a big deal. Not that I'm a scientist, not that I'm a Keebler elf, but if I was, I would say that I was a sociologist, and social constructs can be one heck of a thing.
Because
I'm like, wow, okay, well, so what? We all have our history and our past. I don't know why it's such a big deal that he had to like tell her. I'm like, okay, well.
But the fact that he said that he didn't feel safe, he used that word safety, that he didn't feel safe with you and Christine. And
I think he's just making stuff up now. I really do. If he had been in the mind that he was when we all were together, that would have been something he wouldn't have been proud of. He wouldn't have been bragging about. He wouldn't have been talking about. Because that was not, it was really sort of a transgression really against our moral code, right? It's so weird. I think he really just needs to somehow justify.
Janelle basically says that like he's justifying reasons that he thinks he stayed with Robyn and he kept his wife and all of this stuff, and honestly weaponizing this because what he goes into saying is that he told Robyn and he told Meri, but he didn't tell the other two because he didn't feel safe with them, right? Then he goes into this whole thing where again he's waxing poetic. I don't think I've ever said that as much in a 2-week period, where he has like that dramatic pause and he's like, it's been so long since I was vulnerable with Meri like that, and I'm not even going to show it to you because it annoyed me.
It means that Meri and I had a good start. It means that I have been a fool and angry was my explanations of I was never in love with her. And I have to be fair now and say, yes, I did love her. We were in love and we were lovers. And it just, your love dies from a million paper cuts.
Although there is a Taylor Swift song with similar lyrics, there's also a book called Death by a Million Paper Cuts, but it's a very strange one to choose because this book is about a woman who slowly falls out of love with her husband because he's a teacher who's the worst kind of person and finds out that he's going after his students and is always able to stay a step ahead of his wife and the FBI. Okay, paper cuts are valid reasons not to love someone anymore, so hey, maybe in that way it's an apt comparison. I have no idea. Cuts back to Meri, and again, I appreciate her responses to this because he says that they were intuitive, they asked, this sort of stuff, and that he really loved all his wives, and that him and Meri used to have precious moments, and she's like, I just really don't know how to respond to that, especially after all the things that have been said. I think maybe that's something he's needing to work out. That's not really over here. In Kody's little diatribe, he does the same thing where he's like, I loved all of them, but they went on TV and trashed me, so I felt the need to say these things that weren't true and I didn't mean. So basically, in a nutshell, no one can trust anything you ever say because you're so ruled by your emotions. Got it.
I was a high school athlete, and there was only, let's not go into details.
there were other options.
There were other options that got close. So I just,
You didn't take those options?
no. I was a little bit wild, but I wasn't, like I was being Mormon naughty.
That is a good question, Suki, but if you will excuse me, I have some dishes in the sink. So that's where we come to that first clip of Christine saying, like, if he felt so open and so safe and so close, which I hate that they weaponize that word so much, but then what were they doing before they got married? Plus, like we saw in the part before this, they had a crazy long courtship, especially a courtship where he would go and stay at her house for whole weekends. And Christine points that out. Like, he was awfully comfortable in her bedroom.
He didn't kiss me until he asked me to marry him, and it wasn't a kiss, it was a stamp. You know, his face smashed mine. That was it. You know, it wasn't anything super sexy.
No.
No, you know. So
Can you take me back to that moment?
yeah, like he asked me to marry him. We're sitting in his, little fun sports car because he can't live without him. And I said yes, and then he grabbed my face, went bam, like kissed me.
And according to the boundaries and rules in your relationship, religion, and culture, that was cheating. We've covered this. Continuing.
There wasn't any naughtiness afterwards, or was there more kissing after the bumping of faces?
There was some chase kissing, little church kisses. But yeah, that's it.
What's a church kiss?
Just a...
While she's Yeah, so he's telling her, like, hey, come outside with me. Right, without the cameras. Oh, Christine was in labor right now.
He got the clue. Camera follows me, and I'm like, dude, I got a wife in labor. I'm not gonna sit here kissing my girlfriend.
So kiss her
It's just
again!
awkward.
One interesting thing was something you would do in front of your pastor. Now, so in their group, the connotation of what they were married into, you would not do that in front of them. And if you were going to do that in front of anyone, why would you hide from the cameras? But that could have effectively, if you had someone who was like really into it, could have broken the seals to all of his other wives, because you're a married man. You're not supposed to be doing things like that.
Well, I loved our conversation about Mormon naughtiness.
No, we're not talking about my sexuality. No,
Didn't ask.
come on, that was crossing the line.
No, it's not about your sexuality. It's about you and Robyn.
That was not a cool discussion.
Yeah.
I saw a couple comments from you kind of clocking maybe the way he responded to things or how he is, and just read his bio on Instagram. This has been it for a very, very long time. He's one of those. Like, there's no question about it, and very, very proud, very open about that. The reality is she's not asking what he thinks she's asking, but he's also mentioned, like, oh my god, the internet, and they bring up this stuff. So he's obviously got a little chip there, but definitely not cool with the community, anything like that in any way, shape, or form. But he doesn't like it, so he obviously looks offset to producers to save him from the situation.
That was not a cool discussion.
Yeah.
I give a little bit here, so you don't have me in a good mood now. We're going to have to talk some more. I give a little bit here. It's like I give an inch. I'm generous. And it's like, well, let's dig into his life.
Okay.
I didn't think that was cool.
So generous and such a good guy. If you want to know about that, ask him, because there's not going to be many other people who are going to tell you that story. You know what I mean? But I am not so generous, and we're going to have to do one more part, which I didn't want to do, but there was just so much that was covered in this that I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.